the meaningful impact it has on offensive drives. We've talked about it for a year now, that you're 3 times more likely to get in the end zone by simply avoiding a sack on any drive. It's remarkable, and Bo is fantastic at that. And I still think we're kind of like, well, I don't want to speak for anyone else. I'll just speak for myself. Like, there's a sense of like bathing in the afterglow of finding a quarterback. Like, the Broncos haven't played a game. When was the last time the Broncos played a game? It was the wild card round against the Bills. But what was that? A month and a half ago?
Yeah, month and a half ago.
So like they haven't played in a while, but it's just so nice that that game was on January 12th. Yeah, so
Sunday, January 12th.
But it's such a relief and a comfort knowing that the Denver Broncos found their guy that they have been looking for the better part of a decade. And it's just nice. It's nice knowing that this guy.
You're just drinking a pina colada, just in blue skies, music bumping in the background. Like, okay, I like this. This is nice.
Yes. And I know as I drink that pina colada that Bo isn't. Like, Bo's working his butt off. The guy is obsessive. He's wired the right way, and it's just there's an incredible
That's
comfort.
What's nice about it.
With that.
That's why I'm glad I'm done playing, because now I can just
let me drink this beer so you don't have to, Bo.
I had one yesterday. You're like, man, I don't have to worry about getting ready to wake up at 5 a.m. and go run around.
Oh my gosh. Well,
good job, Bo.
Good job, Bo. NFL.com, they ranked every starting quarterback from the 2024 season. Okay, and where did they put Bo? Where do we think he belongs if we think they didn't get the list right? And what should a stat line for Bo Nix look like in year number 2? So let's go over the exercise here. So NFL.com, it was Nick Shook over there. He listed every starting quarterback from this past year. Number 1 was your buddy Lamar.
Action Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
How you feel about that?
The list is already flawed, is what I would say. But Lamar had a fantastic, just electric year. Career high touchdown passes.
Josh have the MVP this year. Like, come on now.
Maybe he did. He's like, you know what? I had a 2,000-yard rusher in Derrick Henry and the league's best defense in the second half of the year and 9 Pro Bowlers to year 1.
Oh,
yeah, Josh, you can have it. Even though I fumbled 11 times. But you can't count my fumbles. It's only about picks.
Well,
it doesn't fit my narrative.
He's running like,
doesn't fit my
everybody
narrative.
wanted him to be a running back. He's breaking for long runs, not just like a 1-yard touchdown. Fake tush push.
11 fumbles. Even Melvin's like, dude, clean it up.
Oh, Melvin Gordon.
He had Lamar number 1.
Clean it up.
Lamar number 1. Joshua number 2. Joe Burrow number 3.
Joey B.
Jared Goff number 4. Jaden Daniels number 5. Any beef with the top 5 quarterbacks there, ranking from the 2024 season?
Yeah, I mean, look, Jaden Daniels had a great year. And I'm not going to take anything from that young man. Do I feel like he should be number 5 right now? I do not believe he should be number 5. It's only 1 year. It's only 1 year, and although it was a great year, I don't believe that he should be in front of Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield had another great year.
He did.
Brought his team to the playoffs. Another one. All right? Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry, guys. Like, look, you cannot put Patrick Mahomes down to 7 because that's where he's at 7th.
Yep.
And have Jaden Daniels in front of him in the top 5.
See, I'm glad you're kind of protesting here because you make sense. But at the same time, if you're doing the exercise and it's based off 2024, what do you do with a player like Jaden Daniels? Because if it's some legacy, if you're putting it up against a career, Mahomes has to be number 1.
Yes, a legacy, but even like how things are done, he's young. He needs to prove it again. Just like we're going to talk about Bo. Bo's another one. They need to prove it again. I'm all with that. Great year, but it's like what you guys talk about with the basketball. And when somebody doesn't win the MVP, we're talking about let's talk about SGA. SGA did not win the MVP last year.
Right.
Jokic did.
Yep.
But SGA might win it this year because of what he did last year and what he's doing this year. So it's more of a prove it. you looked good last year.
Yeah.
We'll give it to you this next year if you're able to do what you did last year.
Which is so crazy.
I know it's crazy. And it's bizarre.
I know. You're right though.
You're the one that was telling me this.
No. Again, you don't sound crazy. It's almost like some. You have to validate what you've already done. They want to see it again.
Yeah.
They want to see it again. And you're someone who, I guess, who's uniquely qualified to have this conversation too.
For sure.
Because you run for 1,000 yards and it's like, I'm sure there's some people like,
everybody. Like, it's a fluke year.
Can he do it again? Right?
Everybody knows about you now. You were undrafted. You were a great story, but can you run for 1,000 yards again?
As opposed to if you were a first or second round pick and you did the exact same thing that you did, it'd been like, that's who he is.
That's like Saquon. Like, hey, Saquon is who he is.
Right. But
he's an all-star.
But with you, it's like, because the awareness isn't there, it's like, I want to see him do that again.
And then you have the running back position where it's like, hey, every year there's a running back that goes for 1,000 yards.
Sure.
So, like, you have that people can argue with. And so maybe it's different because it's the quarterback position, but just prove it again. And I know we haven't got to Bo just yet, but you have to prove that you belong in the top 5. We're talking about top 5, not top 10, but top 5.
Right.
And you push Patrick Mahomes to 7th?
Yeah.
And he was going for a 3-peat?
Right.
Come on, man.
Right. And on a team that really only lost one game when he was in the lineup.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't give you too much pushback. You make a lot of sense. But if you're doing the exercise, where do you put someone like Jaden Daniels, who had arguably the greatest rookie season of all time?
So people are going to be upset with me too, because I'm going to go off of, like, wins and success as well. Like, Jalen Hurts is at 9. Jalen Hurts just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He did enough for his team. He had a couple really great throws. People are like, hey, we had Cecil Lammey in here talking about how he doesn't hit the middle of the field. What's the first thing my boy Jalen Hurts does? He hits the middle of the field in stride. I would have to put him.
Hurts?
I would put
or
Jaden Daniels at 11. Justin Herbert.
Wow, so you're taking him out of the top 5 and
Yes.
and removing him from the top 10.
Top 10, 11th.
This
you know
is
where this
tough.
Is going.
No,
you know this is going with me with Bo.
Well, this is tough because, again, how do you even do the exercise when you aren't acknowledging what they did and their one opportunity they got? And I'm not telling you you're wrong.
No.
This is a tough exercise to do when you're talking about putting a musician with one hit. Now, smash hit, but do you put him over? You put whoever who's the young rapper? Give me a young rapper here. Big X the Plug. Do you put Big X the Plug because he's hot right now over 10 number 1 albums in a row with Jay-Z? But if you're doing it for 2024 and people are listening to Big X the Plug more than Hova, it's like, well, how do you?
And it's unfair too, Zach, because it's like, hey, they only had 1 year. When we talk about Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, only had 1 year. So it's like, it's not a lot to, like, say, hey, like, they don't deserve to be in top 5, but also it's like, you have to earn it. Do it again the next year. Because a lot of these quarterbacks have done it multiple times. Baker Mayfield has been in playoffs multiple times. He has had successful years multiple times. Now, has he won a Super Bowl? No. But a lot of these quarterbacks have not won a Super Bowl. It's just right now it's Patrick Mahomes and then Jalen Hurts has one.
Yeah.
You know, and then you have Matthew Stafford's another one. All right, like, are you going to put Matthew Stafford at 8 and you can put Jaden Daniels over Matthew Stafford? Like, that's what goes to my head. I'm okay with it. It was a phenomenal year, but I'm having Jaden Daniels at 11th.
All right. So, and if you're just joining us, NFL.com ranked every starting quarterback from the 2024 season. Where did they put Bo Nix? Where would we put Bo Nix? And what should a Bo Nix stat line look like in year 2? We'll get to that here in just a minute. Just to reset this list, and we'll continue it, and then we'll kind of just see see how we feel as we continue to go through this list. So it's Lamar number 1, Josh Allen number 2, Joe Burrow number 3, Jared Goff number 4, Jaden Daniels number 5. Baker Mayfield is at 6. Okay, and just to reset, Baker this past season, 43 touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's insane. 16 interceptions, had 3 rushing touchdowns, so he accounted for 46 touchdowns this year. Just incredible. Then you get to Mahomes is at 7. You kind of aired your beef on that, and it's hard to disagree. And so much of of the Mahomes ranked at 7th is stats.
Yeah.
It's just stats, numbers, and it's
And that's why at times stats can fool you.
totally.
And it's like you have to watch the games, watch the quarterback. What do they mean to the team? And that's why it's like you push Patrick Mahomes to 7th. I can't get with that.
No. I co-sign it. But to continue with NFL.com's list of ranking every starting quarterback in the 2024 season, Stafford is number 8, Jalen Hurts is number 9, and by the way, this is done this week, so this is post Super Bowl. Hurts is at number 9, Jordan Love is at number 10. So they're according to NFL.com, they're your top 10 quarterbacks. Obviously, we didn't hear the name Bo Nix. To continue on the list, we get to number 11. It is Justin Herbert. Number 12 is Geno Smith.
Oh, Geno.
This is where I start to get a little bit uncomfortable.
And we're talking about we haven't heard Bo's name yet.
Haven't heard Bo's name yet. And when you look at someone like Geno Smith, again, this isn't a career accomplishment. This is about 2024. Geno Smith threw 21 touchdown passes with 15 interceptions. 21 touchdown passes, 15 interceptions. Phil, he also had 9 fumbles. So he had more. Now he had 2 rushing touchdowns too. So let's throw that in there too. So he had 23 total touchdowns, okay, to 24 turnovers. I'm sorry. This is where I have to officially throw the challenge flag. You want to talk about Baker and Hurts and Jordan Love and even Herbert.
And you're not saying you don't like Geno Smith.
I'm not saying that at all. It's been a great story. They wrote him off, and he didn't write back. If you remember that quote. One of the coldest quotes of all time. They wrote me off, but I didn't write back. So good. So
drop
good.
The mic drop.
It's so good. And Geno has really proved himself as a functioning playoff caliber quarterback. But if we're basing it off 2024, there's no way that Geno Smith should be ahead of Bo Nix. Just objectively. He should not. He should not. Seattle was not as good as Denver. Broncos were in the playoffs, and Bo's numbers are better across the board. They're just better.
Yeah.
So I don't like that one.
Other than the passing yards.
Say that again?
Other than the passing, because Geno had 4,300 yards passing.
Yes, he did.
Bo had 3,700 yards.
Yep, he did. So about 500 more passing yards or so, approximately. Okay. Then you get to number 13. It's Sam Darnold. If we're doing it just on 2024, Sam Darnold should be way higher on this list.
Yeah, I mean, to be real with you, Sam Darnold might be at 11, maybe even the top 10. You're talking about this year and what Sam Darnold did this year. Over 4,500 yards passing. Like 36 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He was not supposed to play this year.
No. Nope.
And the Vikings were not supposed to be as good as they were this year.
They were a 14-win team.
Yes.
So you had a quarterback on a 14-win team who threw 36 touchdown passes and over 4,500 yards, but he's behind Geno Smith. So now I officially don't like this list.
Yeah, now it's like seeming biased or like having some kind of anger towards somebody. Like, what are we doing?
So continue with the list. This is NFL.com's ranking of every starting quarterback from the 2024 season. We haven't heard Bo Nix's name yet. We get to 14th. It's Brock Purdy.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Brock threw 20 touchdowns.
What are we doing?
12 interceptions, 7 fumbles. Again, Brock Purdy is more established, greater sample size to draw from, was starting in a Super Bowl a year ago. I don't want to disrespect Brock Purdy.
But you can disrespect him a little bit. You had Christian McCaffrey that was healthy, that ended up winning Offensive Rookie of the Year that year. You had,
Offensive Player of the Year.
Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
You had Brandon Ayuk that was healthy. Brandon Ayuk wasn't healthy this year, but people were healthy during that Super Bowl. So, this year, Brock Purdy does not deserve to be 14th.
No. You get to number 15, according to NFL.com. Still haven't heard Bo Nix. It's C.J. Stroud. All right. Not going to give too much. I'm not going to get too in a tizzy about that.
Yeah.
Then you get to 16. It's Bryce Young.
Yeah, see.
Now, Bryce Young played really well the back half of this year, but he was the worst quarterback in football through the first quarter of the year. Now, Bo wasn't much better in the first quarter of the season, if we remember. But 15 total touchdown passes, 9 interceptions.
And Bryce got benched.
He got benched. He did. We get to 17. Still haven't heard Bo Nix's name yet. It's Kyler Murray.
How do you feel about that one? Like, I'll tell you this. Bryce Young, he needs to be bumped down. down. Yes, he did well at the end of the year, but he does not deserve to be 16th right now. Kyler Murray did more than Bryce Young, and yet Bryce Young's over Kyler Murray.
Murray's 17th. Okay, get to 18th. Still haven't heard Bo's name yet. Counting down NFL.com's starting quarterbacks in 2024 ranked. It's Tua.
Oh, come on.
It's Tua. Tua played 11 games this year, had 19 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions, 7 fumbles, threw for 2,800 yards.
Is this a joke?
See, this is what exercise are you trying to pull off? Because in the top 10, you don't have Mahomes in the top 5, despite already probably being the second most accomplished quarterback in NFL history, because you're doing it just based on 2024. But if that's the exercise, that's fine.
Yeah.
But what are you doing with Tua? What are you doing with Bryce Young? What are you doing with Brock Purdy? What are you doing with Sam Darnold? So we'll continue the list.
You're just trying to make people mad? That's
maybe,
what it comes down to.
Honestly, maybe so. Maybe you're trying to generate.
Come on, there is no way you put Tua at 18th. All right, at 18 right here, and Bo Nix hasn't even been talked about just yet. And Bo Nix had a great year as a rookie, but you had Jaden Daniels top 5? Like, come on.
It's not a good list.
Give me the man's number.
So this is now established. It's not a good list. Surely Bo Nix is coming in at 19th.
Has to be.
Dak Prescott, 19th.
Oh, Dak.
8 games played. Eight games played, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 4 fumbles. More turnovers than touchdowns in 8 games.
And the Dallas Cowboys stunk it up this year.
Yes. And again, it's just like, what exercise are we trying to pull off? This
disrespectful exercise. Like, obviously, this man does not like Sean Payton. It cannot be against Bo Nix. Bo Nix has not done anything to anybody. He is just a young rookie trying to find his way. Had a great year, but yet he still hasn't been talked about. And you put Dak Prescott in front of Bo?
8 games. Again, what are we doing? Are we doing a 9-year sample size of Dak, or are we talking about 2024? Finally, Bo Nix comes in at number 20.
Whew.
In NFL.com's ranking of every starting quarterback from 2024. Bo Nix coming at 20. And the well, you guys know his numbers, but I'll repeat them here anyway. And they included the playoff game, okay, in this exercise. So they added an 18th game. It was 3,900 yards, completion percentage of 66%, 30 touchdown passes, 12 interceptions, nearly 500 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, and just 3 fumbles. All right, so Bo this season accounted for 34 touchdowns and 15 turnovers. And what they said was, quote, "Take a victory lap, Bo. Denver's decision to spend its first-round pick on the Oregon product was met with plenty of immediate criticism, but Sean Payton trusted his gut and showed he and the Broncos front office were correct in thinking Nix was the ideal fit for this offense. Payton consistently had his rookie passer on the move, and Nix thrived accordingly. So much of that generated legit offensive rookie of the year buzz at midseason. Those takes tailed off once Nix encountered some difficulties, but his debut season was a resounding success nonetheless."
Take a victory lap, Bo. More like take a lap.
Yeah, right. Take a victory lap. You're the bottom third quarterback. We thought you wouldn't even be in the league.
Take a lap.
But take a victory lap. You're 20th.
Did I get in trouble?
Where do you think Bo truly belongs on this list?
I believe Bo truly belongs at number 12. Now, I said Jaden Daniels does not belong in the top 5. I said Jaden Daniels should be in front of Justin Herbert at 11. And that's where Jaden Daniels is going to be for me, at 11th. I believe that Bo Nix is right behind Jaden Daniels. Bo Nix is not better than Jaden Daniels just yet. So for people out there like, oh, like, no, like, relax. They're both of them are going at it. But I'm still putting Jaden Daniels ahead of Bo right now.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's more than fair. That's actually the right answer. It's more than fair. Okay. It's the right answer.
And so Bo is at 12th. All right? He's number 12.
I like it. Sounds fair to me. It sounds perfectly fair to me. What should a stat line look like for Bo Nix in 2025?
See, this is interesting, and I went back and forth on this one, Zach, because it's like, hey, just because you put up godly numbers, Joe Burrow being one of them, almost 5,000 yards, if not 5,000 yards passing. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, nearly 5. It was over 4,900 yards.
but yet Joe Burrow was not in the playoffs. So I guess for me, it's like I want Bo to get the stats. So let's say 4,200 yards passing, 36 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, because you're going to get intercepted. It is what it is.
You said 10?
10 interceptions. That's a great year. And you're in the playoffs. You still win. You're a winning quarterback. But I'd rather see Bo throw the ball less and hand the ball off more.
Wow. So we don't
You're
talk.
Copying me.
We don't talk about. Listen to you. With your
Those goes.
accusations before I can even speak.
You're copying me.
We didn't discuss this, nor do we any of our topics before we have them. I looked at it even to a lesser degree.
All right.
I think the numbers could look the exact same. I really do. Now, you said 4,200 yards. That would be insane. That would have been a sixth this past year. That would have been more yards than your king, Lamar, through this year. So I don't think the numbers actually need to do much of anything. Like, now, look, if he threw for 4,200 yards and 36 touchdown passes, like, that would be just
because you have to, like,
be incredible.
What I'm thinking is, like, there's a couple of times where receivers drop balls.
Sure.
Troy Franklin dropped a bomb that was like a 50-yard bomb. Cortland Sutton was another one that dropped a couple of big-time balls this year that you end up looking up and it helps your stats out.
Sure. I would say maybe 100 more yards, 200 more yards, so like around 3,900 yards, making up for the Jets game where he had -7 passing yards, first time that's ever happened in the first half.
Rough one.
Flirting with around 4,000 yards, 3,900 yards, going from 29 touchdowns, maybe staying right around there, maybe 30, 31.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. I do like cutting down on the interceptions, and I do think they'll come down because you got to remember 1/4 of Bo Nix's interceptions were thrown in the first quarter of the season. He just wasn't quite ready to play. He was involved in a three-man competition with Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson through the entire summer.
Worrying about his dead arm.
Last name starter in the NFL. So he's super slow start to the season. So I think those will come back down a little bit. I don't think he's going to throw 4 picks in the first 2 games again. So if you can be around 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, flirting with 4,000 yards, he was just excellent out of the gate. I don't think
he was. But now we need a run game to go with that. So now if he's handing the ball off more, maybe he has more explosive plays. Because now the defense is stepping up in the box and saying, hey, we have to stop the run.
I like it.
And now you got those one-on-one opportunities. Chris Godwin, we're putting that into the air. Chris Godwin, you got Cortland Sutton. Like, you have more weapons, more opportunities, more one-on-one options. And so you end up with bigger plays being made for you. So that's the ideal. That's something that I'm gonna hope that happens for Bo Nix, because if that can happen for Bo Nix, the Denver Broncos will win enough games to get back into the playoffs.
Yep. Bo Nix ended up attempting 567 passes this year, 6th most in the NFL as a rookie. You're right. That number can come back down a little bit. But Deshaun wanted to come back down. Sean loves driving that little race car.
Put him in timeout.
You think of the race car like you're holding the remote and you're watching it do what you want it to do. Like, that's how he views Bo Nix out there. He's like an extension of Sean Payton's quarterback mind.
This is what we do. We put like one of those shot collars on O'Shawn.
Yes.
You know, he already run the damn ball on his play call sheet. That didn't work.
No, it didn't.
Put a shot collar. Anytime he decides, hey, I want to pass it. I want to pass it.
I don't hate it. Hey, what is the